Hello, audience and North Texas sports fans. This is episode 27 of the 214 Sports Show, your home for everything North Texas, DFW sports, all the shebang and bang. We are here again. I'm Joseph Duffy. I'm joined along my partner, TJ Krylowitz. Once again, absent with some circumstances private to him is our other co-host, Courtney Machani. He'll be here probably next week, though. So wishing he's still feeling better with whatever's going on with his family. And just glad to have another week with you, TJ. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Episode 27. Ready to talk some Dallas sports, as always, with you, Joseph. Trying to think of any Dallas legends with the number 27. I can't think of many. All I'm thinking of is Mason Marchman on the Stars right now.
Oh my god,
man, 27, rare number kind of.
There's not a lot of high 27s. I can only think of Beltray. That's it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's it. But not a lot of high 27s.
Beltray was 29.
Yeah, 29.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So not too much going on over the weekend, of course. At least in North Texas sports, but of course, this past weekend we had the All-Star weekend festivities. Some people liked this, some people didn't like it, but there has been a lot of uproar going on across the association off the debacle of what is the current All-Star game model. But I will say I did love the Serena v. Steph 3-point matchup. That was
great. I loved that. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I also enjoyed, the skills competition was kind of fun this year too. I thought. Usually that's kind of like the the afterthought of the Saturday night. Yeah, the Scotty Barnes stuff, man. And dunk contest was the lamest part of the night.
It's been that way.
Get me started on. Well, you go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been that way to me for like the past 3-4 years. Ever since Aaron Gordon wasn't in it for that second time, he got robbed that second time, and Dwayne Wade gave him that 9 and stuff. And he got destroyed on social media. It's just been on a very steep decline. And to be fair, I do want to be honest, like, it's not always because of the players' fault. We've seen pretty much every dunk possible. I mean, it's been going on for at least 35 years now. And, there's not a lot to be impressed by. You look at the crowd comparison from the Vince Carter dunk contest in '99 compared to now, and I mean, it's night and day. And so looking at, Jaylen Brown trying to jump over the dude's 5'3" that chair, bro. Man. Like, come on now. And then blindfold himself as if he couldn't see himself jumping over that chair. I'm like, come on now, what are we doing? It's a very rough competition,
for sure.
I mean, do you have any thoughts on the actual All-Star game itself? Because do you have any things you would tweak? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if we can really tweak it. I mean, it's just it's an All-Star game. Obviously, you want these people to be playing hard, but they're not going to play hard. They're not getting paid for it, and they're not going to get, they're not going to try to get injured for their team. So, I mean, that's just how it's going to be. I wish the defense was a little bit better. I think the defense this year was just awful. It's like, at least try to
No closeouts.
They weren't even running back on defense. They were not closing out. I mean, there was not a single contested shot that entire game. I guarantee it almost. Every single shot was wide open. It's like, at least put some kind of effort into it, It gets boring after like the first 6 minutes. It's like, okay, Deng's going to shoot another 3. What a surprise, So...
Yeah, pretty rough watch. Adam Silver sounded a little bit disappointed while presenting that trophy. I don't know if you saw the little clip. And he's like, to the East, you won by dropping 211 points.
He knew what was going to happen, man.
He's like, well, here you go. Here's a trophy.
He knew what was going to happen. He knew Twitter was going to go off about, no defense again, man. The no defense allegations are going crazy in the NBA right now.
Yeah, and that's why I think the MLB All-Star Game has to be the best. I mean, you can't fake baseball. If they wanted to, I mean, they could lob the ball, but it just wouldn't be the same product. And to think about how they used to have like an incentive for the All-Star Game, I don't know if you remember those circumstances where the winner would, host the World Series. It screwed over the Rangers in 2011, if you remember that, because the Cardinals got home field advantage. Yeah, and so that's why we had to play. That. We had to play the late series in St. Louis, even though we had a better record than them. So I'll let it go, though. I'll let it go.
Yeah, we
the
won't
pain has
talk
been
too
eased.
much about 2011. The All-Star Weekend's also in Arlington this year, so
yeah, I don't know if you saw
exciting.
those prices, man. I want to
they're
go.
They're not official yet. They're all just pre-sale. They're all just wait till the official tickets come out. We'll be all right.
I sure hope, man.
I'm sure they're going to be some pretty expensive tickets, but they probably won't be as expensive as those World Series tickets.
Yeah,
those were atrocious.
Yeah, that was crazy. So without further ado, before we jump into Dallas Mavericks basketball, which will start in 2 days as they start the second half of the season, let's jump into a game of Poodle, the famous game where we guess a random basketball player. We had a rough go of it last week. I believe the person was a player in the Jazz. I can't remember his name. Who was it? Do you remember?
Uh-oh.
Still can't remember.
You froze just a little bit there. I guess it was because my screen was loading up.
Can you see me now?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. First player, gotta be a Maverick. We'd go with the new model on our team, the new Daniel Gafford. Can't stare at his eyes too long.
Gafford. I feel like we guessed Gafford already first.
Did we?
It's okay. We can do it. We can do it again.
PJ Washington now?
Don't matter. Probably got to the dot. There you go. Ty Washington.
Okay. All right.
West Ford was 6'7". Not the division, though. Older than 25, lower than 25 in number.
A 6'7" wing player. I thought PJ Washington was taller than that, too.
He's always played bigger. So
let's go with trying to think of anyone, maybe like a Torian Prince, something like that.
What about Rui? Is Rui older than 25? Is he older than 25?
I feel like he's probably
he's not 6'7". He's not 6'7". He's taller than 6'7". Let's not do that.
Yeah, let's go Torian Prince for now. See what that gets us.
Precious Achua.
Oof. There we go. Took a while to get that.
What?
He's an old dude. Old.
Oh, man.
6'7" old guy in the Northwestern Conference.
PJ Tucker.
I don't think that's anyone on the Blazers.
Is PJ Tucker in the West?
Ooh, PJ Tucker's on the Clippers, though, right? Didn't he get pissed off about how he was not going to get waived or something like that?
He's not 6'7". No way.
Yeah, he's on the He's on the Pacific Division, anyways. I can't really think of anyone on the Wolves right now.
That's
I would
old.
be surprised if it was the Thunder. I'm thinking it's either. You know who it could be? It could be Justin Holiday.
Hold up.
Mavs player last year on the Nuggets now.
Could, or I was going to say Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, that's a good one. Oh, yeah. He's on what team is he on now?
He's not on Denver anymore. I don't think so.
Wait, he's on the Rockets. He's on the Rockets, isn't he?
No, that's the case, no. I would have said he was on the Nuggets, but I don't think he's there anymore. We can go with the guy you were saying before.
Oh, who was I saying at this point? I can't remember now.
I don't even remember. You were saying someone before that.
Justin Holiday. Let's try Justin Holiday on the Nuggets. See if that works out.
Northwest Division. Who else?
This is now
Northwest Division.
So someone who's 33-32, forward. So not on the Nuggets. Man, okay. Man, this is tough, dude.
They've been having some rough ones the past
If it's the Jazz again, man, I'm going to be so pissed off if it's the Jazz
I just can't think of that many old people in the Jazz. That's the problem.
I know. We got the Jazz
They're a relatively young
time,
team, too.
So who's on the Timberwolves right now that this could be?
It seems like a very young division overall, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is, for sure. I can't really think of anyone on the Timberwolves at this point.
Any Blazers you can think of?
Blazers. I would be surprised if there's a Blazer that was that old at this point.
This is crazy.
Sheesh. Let's show the silhouette. Maybe that helps us out a little bit, man. We're struggling again. Oh, looks like another white guy. Gordon, you know who it is? It's Gordon Hayward. It's Gordon Hayward. That one gave
Oh,
it
looks like
away.
another white guy.
That gives it away.
Man,
Gordon Hayward,
we're t-
on the fourth guess, just because of
we
the silhouette.
we're terrible.
See, I would have not gotten that. There's no way I would
Yeah.
have been able to get
Well, 'cause
that.
he just got there. To be
He
fair,
just
so like,
got there. I know.
how are we supposed to guess that?
Come on,
Oh my
man.
lord!
I mean,
Come
you
on
can
now,
look at his
Pirtle.
jersey right now. You can tell that that's not even a Thunder jersey. It looks like they actually like made it black. Like I don't think that's a Hornets jersey either.
Yeah, what
That's
jersey would that
photoshopped.
even be, bro? Oh my gosh, Pirtle, what are we doing, man?
Come on,
Jeez,
Pirtle. Be better, man. Come
be
on.
better, bro. Please. So moving
Uh,
on to the Dallas Mavericks. The 32-23 Dallas Mavericks, who are currently seated at 7 in the Western Conference, will open up their second half against the Phoenix Suns on Thursday on the NBA on TNT. Going to be a big game to start off the second half of the season. I want to ask you this, though, TJ. Knowing that this Mavs team is kind of set in those playoff seeding, these play-in seedings, actually, for the majority of the season, how can the Mavs make top 6 for the playoffs, in your opinion, maybe?
I think it. I don't really know. You're going in as a 7th seed right now. You're a game behind the 6th seed Pelicans right now. You can easily make it into the top 6. They have a pretty tough schedule, like a pretty tough schedule coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, they play the Suns. They play the Pacers on the road, which could be competitive. They also have Boston on the road. They have Philadelphia at home. Granted, Embiid's probably going to be out. I think you also play. I mean, you play Indiana, I think, twice actually. And I forgot about Cleveland. We're playing in Cleveland also after the Pacers game in Indianapolis. And that's going to, it's going to go back to having the ability to beat those over 500 teams. I think we tweeted about it a couple of days ago when the Mavs went on a 6-game winning streak, which is still going on actually. It's been a while since they've won a game, obviously, since we had the All-Star break. I kind of forgot we're still on that 6-game winning streak. But during that 6-game winning streak, we had 3 victories against over 500 teams. Granted, New York, Philadelphia, they were both hurt, but Oklahoma City was a healthy team. We were able to beat them in Dallas. And this is something that the Mavs have struggled to do this entire year. They were 10-18 against 500 teams. They always lose to those top teams. I mentioned that last week as well. They always lose to the top teams in the league. They have trouble beating them. So, it's going to have to come down to winning those games. We can't lose. We can't go on a 3-game losing streak coming out of the All-Star break, losing to Phoenix, Indiana, and Cleveland. We're going to have to, I think, if you want to get in the top 6, we got to beat at least 2 of those 3 opponents, to show that we're actually capable of beating those, the competitive teams.
Yeah, you were mentioning the schedule. You were looking ahead a little bit, and yes, first 2 weeks are pretty
First week is
difficult.
rough.
Yeah, but I looked at a tweet, and they were combining, who has the easiest records, and technically they were saying we have, as it stands, the 3rd easiest schedule remaining, and mainly you can see that in the last 3 weeks of the season, with a lot of matchups against the Warriors and the Rockets and the Hawks. But and the Hornets too. But I would assume that the Warriors can maybe heat up as the season rolls on. They usually do that later. But overall, I mean, this team, I think that for them to get top 6, they're in the right position as we discussed last week. I love how this front court is playing. I love how more consistent on rebounding has become. And we already know how clutch Luka and Kyrie can be in the fourth quarter. But looking at this team's roster, I mean, you have to depend on people to lose too. And we saw how even in the midst of this 6-game winning streak, nobody was losing really in front of us. And so we couldn't gain any ground in the Western Conference because nobody in front of us was losing. So you have to depend on other teams to get a little bit cold as well as staying consistent in your own right and taking care of business against, like you said, the 500 teams that are not vying for a playoff spot. Being the teams that you can beat, and then also winning against 3 500 teams like we had in this winning streak. So taking care of business is essential, but also depending on other teams to lose, because eventually, I mean, this Western Conference is historic right now. We haven't seen anything like this in a minute for the Western Conference. This type of parity and this type of I guess you would call it competitiveness in the Western Conference, because you could argue, I mean, any of these teams right now in this top 8 could win the championship. I mean, it's just so talented from top to bottom.
Yeah,
But
I
I want to
agree.
ask you. I want to ask you next. If you could throw out a prediction right here, I'm going to frame it like this: the Mavs will be great, mid, or mediocre because of. I wanted to see what you say for this one.
Well, so the Mavs would be great, mid, or mediocre. So I could choose between those three.
Mm-hmm. Surely you wouldn't
Well,
say
I would say,
mediocre.
oh, certainly I won't
I
say
just want to
mediocre.
throw it out there just
Surely.
because. Down the stretch, of course.
I will say the Mavs will be great if they stay healthy. If they could stay healthy, I don't know if Dante Exum will be back for the game against Phoenix, but I mean, when you're looking at this team when they're healthy, there's nothing we can't do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Langford is an amazing spark plug that we could put in and, just dominate. He was able to get a lot, he's averaging almost 15 rebounds a game at this point in his 3 games that he's played with us. And then you also have Derek Lively. If he could stay healthy, he's another guy who can go in there and, bring another type of energy to this team. You know, he's able to really show his hustle. I think Gafford's kind of a guy who's just like he's just gifted with athleticism and tallness, and he's just able to grab rebounds and stuff like that whenever he wants to. Lively's a guy who really hustles first points, and that's where his energy comes from. Um, and I think it's Dante Exum when he comes back. I think it's going to be I saw a tweet saying like Mavs fans better be patient with Jason Kidd once this team gets healthy because he's going to have to make some tough decisions with the
Yeah,
rotation.
he is.
You're going to have to probably take Jaden Hardy out of the rotation maybe. You're going to have to take maybe Derrick Jones Jr. out of the rotation. You're going to have to you're going to have to make some tough decisions. But when this team is healthy, I don't think there's a team that can beat us in a best of 7 series. Well, I'm gonna say that in a non-biased way, not saying like we're guaranteed, but
I
I'm
was gonna
saying that
say,
there's definitely
wow.
no way there's not a single team in the NBA that would definitely beat us in a best of 7 series. It would be at least very competitive.
Yeah.
We would not get swept by any team in the NBA if we were fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking good though, but I was
I'm
shocked
gonna
by
backtrack
that.
there a little
Yeah,
bit. I don't want to be like, the Mavs are that good. They're not that good.
you
But
should have doubled
staying
down with
healthy,
it.
they'll be good.
You should have doubled down and been like, you know what? Nobody can even touch us. We're gonna sweep everybody. We're going 16-0 in the playoffs. Nah, bro.
Hey, I mean, if it happens, man, shit. Just say it came from here, man.
And that would be crazy. It would be a crazy turnaround overall for this team. But been an interesting season to say the least. I know Luka Doncic was having a little bit of a bromance with Nikola Jokic over the weekend. And for those making those little people making a lot of tweets and jokes about all the camaraderie they were having with each other, being both Eastern European players, becoming the top of the NBA in such short time. But Luka Doncic, we've seen what he can do come second half of the NBA season and the playoffs, and no doubt that he'll be able to perform, and he will not be the reason that this team falls short. So we can't pin that on him. I want to see what Jason Kidd can do. Like you said, he's going to have quite the problem on his hands, but it's a good problem, and it's a privileged problem that we're going to have coming up because we have guys that are going to be scrapping for minutes, and we have multiple choices we can plug in, whether in the backcourt or the front court. So interesting to see what this Mavs team can do. If you do want to add briefly, looking ahead to the Suns game, everybody is getting healthier now, and we'll tip this one off on Thursday on the NBA on TNT, as we said just a few minutes ago. But how can this Mavs team beat the Suns?
Uh, I think it kind of goes with the defensive game plan that the Suns are going to put out there. There was a lot of. I guess it's basically going to be not with Luka. The Suns have a lot of history with Luka. We all know that, and they have been very, very. What's a good word to say? They just double team him a lot. They double team him a lot right when he crosses half court. You saw that against in the December game. You saw that also when they blew us out in Dallas in January. They were doubling him like crazy. It gave him a lot of opportunities to go and hit the open man. And I think what was the difference between those two games is that in the Christmas game, we had great cutting. We were able to kind of dissect that zone slash, press man defense that they were running, where they would just go automatically double Luca. And we were able to really, able to dissect it. Derrick Jones Jr. had a great game. You look at the game against Phoenix when we got blown out in Dallas in January. Um, you look at that, all the offense was just still. There wasn't a lot of movement. We weren't knocking down those open shots that we were against Phoenix in December. So, if we want to beat Phoenix, we're going to have to knock down those open shots. We're able to beat, looking at, for example, like Washington, when we beat them, we shot 25% from three. You are never going to win a game shooting 25% for three against a team like Phoenix. You're going to have to hit those, you're going to have to knock down those open shots because you're going to be open. They're going to double team Luca. Luca's probably going to get his, 10, 12, 15 points, whatever, in the first quarter, and they're going to start really, really doubling down on him. So we're going to have to, and the movement's going to have to be good too. I want to see PJ Washington be what Derrick Jones Jr. was on that Christmas game where he's cutting. He's also, moving to the block when Luka gets doubled so then he can get the ball in the middle, either drive in to get that layup or draw contact or kick it out to somebody who's open on the wing. I want to see PJ Washington have a really good game against Phoenix. I think he could be what Derrick Jones Jr. was on Christmas Day against them.
Yeah, well, I hope to see that as well, but I'm interested to see what this team does defensively against such, good offensive weapons in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I know that we talk about the front court addition so much and how much of an impact they've made, but in terms of perimeter defense, I don't know. Because PJ, he's been decent overall on the perimeter. He's been okay and spotty at times. But perimeter defense, I just don't know about it so far. I don't know if you know more than I do about that. But against these weapons, it's going to be interesting to see this on primetime television and how they could possibly, limit the production of Devin Booker because he goes crazy against us every time. Kevin Durant, he has his games against us, but he's not always, dropping like 35 or 40 against us. But Devin Booker, he's pretty automatic against us most of the time, I guess, if you want to exclude Game 7 and a few years ago, that dumpster fire. But he's pretty good against us every time. What do you think about limiting at all or limiting them on the perimeter and their threats against us?
I don't know, man. It's going to be, PJ Washington, he got that added length pause from the deadline. That's something that we badly needed. Obviously Booker had a really good playoff series against Dallas in 2022, excluding Game 7. But what really kind of held him down against Game 7 was not just the doubling, but also just, having that good length, being able to, keep him on the perimeter, not letting him drive. Whenever he was driving, we were collapsing on him. And, that was Dorian Finney-Smith. That was Reggie Bullock. Obviously we don't have him anymore. So PJ Washington's got to be that guy. Derrick Jones Jr. is also a guy who just has crazy length, but he's not really that effective defensively. PJ Washington, he has been spotty a little bit on offense. I think he's been overall really good on defense so far. He's going to have a big assignment. I don't know. I would assume that they would probably put him on Booker and have Durant be guarded by somebody like Maxi Kleber.
Your boy.
He is, man. He's been playing good. You can't deny it.
He has. He's been playing better.
Pretty good.
I will get off his neck a little bit.
Thank you. It means a lot, man. Maxi, come on, man. You can't disrespect Maxi, bro. He's from Würzburg, Germany, man. He's a product of Dirk's hometown. What?
You've heard that story about how he grew up. He didn't even know who Dirk Nowitzki was until he was about to come to the NBA. You ever heard that story? I think
he's got to be joking about that. I think he has to be joking.
That's insane. There's no way a German basketball player from the same town as the best German basketball player all time has never heard of him. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, he definitely heard his name at least once growing up. At least once. If not, thousands of times. Somebody had to have said Dirk. The name Dirk Nowitzki. That has to be said a lot in that town. Especially growing up in a basketball, playing basketball. I think it's fake, man. I think it's fake. But yeah, I mean, no matter what, PJ Washington's going to be good in Devin Booker or Kevin Durant. This is going to be really his first major assignment. I don't think he was the main assignment on SGA when we played the Thunder. So, I mean, this is his first major assignment, He's going to have to play good. I don't know if Dante Exum's going to be back. Dante Exum's another guy who we could put on Booker to kind of neutralize him a little bit. But, the length, the size, not very, not preferable against Devin Booker. So PJ
Yeah,
Washington for sure is going to have a really good defensive game. That means he's, not going to be a factor offensively. We might have a problem because, that was literally my whole point of how we're going to beat Phoenix is, having some way to put PJ Washington in our offensive system when they double Luka. But, he's going to have to do a lot this game.
winning the rebound battle and winning the turnover battle. Those are my essentials for not only
Turnover
every game,
huge.
but
You're right.
against Phoenix, that's going to be a huge deal. That's put at a premium. So we're going to exit that, and we're going to move on to the Dallas Stars, who are first in the Central Division, 34-14-8. Rough go of it past 2 games with the Stars after a 3-game winning streak. After a great game, we saw that they won 9-2 against the Preds a few nights ago. The Stars would drop a very close nail-biting loss against the Edmonton Oilers and then drop another one in Boston against the former Stars head coach, Jim Montgomery, 4-2-3. So, what are your thoughts so far?
That whole situation.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about the Mavs having a really tough schedule, going forward. You know who has a really tough schedule? The Stars right now. The Stars are, man, it's pretty crazy. They just had the Hurricanes, the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs are all right, but the Hurricanes too. They just went back-to-back with the Oilers and Bruins. Now they're actually doing it back-to-back where they play, they played last night against the Boston, and now they're going to play today against the Rangers, who are starting up in about 20, 30 minutes. Obviously, that will be an end result by the time this episode is up. But those are 3 games in a row against top 10 teams. And then, thank goodness we finally get to have a break against Ottawa on Thursday. I mean, this is what, the Stars, they've been playing decent, I guess. I really did not expect them to beat Edmonton. It's just because I know that Edmonton's been hot. It's been a team we've kind of struggled with against in recent years. Their offense is just too good for us. And Boston, they had to call up 2 defensive players that were AHL, the minor league affiliate with the Stars, and they were kind of veterans, but they also haven't been on the ice for a major league or a major professional team in a while. So I mean, you're looking at kind of like a scheduled loss kind of part of the season. Going back to back against 2 really, really good teams on the road, and also just kind of the injury problems we have. The Stars actually just called up their top leading point scorer in their minor league system today, which is kind of worrying. Matt Duchene was a late scratch against Boston yesterday. This might be a sign that Duchene might be out for a while now. They say Miro Heiskanen might play today. But they're playing against some really tough opponents, and they're going through some injury problems, I guess, and that's they're going to have a couple losses. They were so close to beating Edmonton and Boston. They could have easily beaten Boston. Something that is always a problem with this team that I've always noticed is that whenever they score, they always give up a goal afterwards. They have had troubles with that. They weren't doing that at the start of the year. Now I've seen it against Edmonton and Boston. There were multiple occasions where we would go and score, and they would just go and respond to that, like a minute, 30 seconds later. So, hopefully they can clean that up. Hopefully they can clean up their mental after scoring a goal and, really hunker down on defense. But we'll see, man. It's going to be an interesting week for sure.
Always a pet peeve to see. You can argue that's a sign of complacency because you give up a goal right after just scoring, thinking that you can just coast on for the rest of the game. But looking ahead against this Rangers matchup in MSG, always a big time place to play for any sport. Of course, Knicks play there as well. But what a series, stadium series in MetLife Stadium just a few nights ago. With the New York Islanders that they faced off in a 6-5 win. The Rangers will definitely be some more stiff competition for the Dallas Stars. So we're going to move on from that and move on to
Series champion Rangers, though. All right. So let's make it clear though. They're not the best Rangers in America.
Yeah, I
We
always have
can
to
easily
clarify
beat them.
that. By the way, before we get there, I'm so annoyed on Twitter how every time Rangers is trending, bro, it always like is some New York Rangers stuff in front of it. We don't get any love, bro. I follow
Come
every
on,
Rangers
man.
account on Twitter and always just ends up with the New York Rangers trending, and I always have to click on their hashtag, and somehow it always goes to their stuff first. So it is what it is.
Unbelievable.
Gonna move on to, of course, like you said, the World Series champion, Texas Rangers. Round of
We'll
applause.
never
Spring
get
training
old.
will never get old. Spring training is officially underway in Surprise, Arizona, the home of the Rangers spring training. You saw how Nate Lowe and a lot of the fellow Rangers players were just amazed at the graphics that they see as they were approaching the welcome sign and seeing how the World Series champion banners that were there in Surprise and honoring this team that won it all for DFW in the 2023 season. But I do want to ask you first, before we get there, there's a lot of talk going on in Rangers baseball starting officially this week with a few games going on later on this week. But Wyatt Langford, talk of the town for the Rangers. A lot of discussion and rumors that he could make the opening day roster and possibly play left field, if not play DH. Do you think he has a legit opportunity? Do you think you'll see him opening day for Texas at all?
I mean, I love it. I don't know if it's going to be opening day. I think he is already ready, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, he was just drafted like last year almost, on
Literally
2 years
last
ago
year,
almost.
yeah,
Maybe last year, yeah, last
yeah,
year. Um, but I mean, that's crazy, man. If you think about it, think about that outfield of Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, and Adolis Garcia for a season. I mean, it's just absolutely dominant if he comes out and plays like he has, like how Rangers fans are expecting him to. Obviously, just dominated in the minor leagues throughout the last part of the season. Um, but let me be clear. I still think Leody Taveras is a huge part to this team. I think he is still our center fielder. He had a good postseason. Um, and he's also still really good defensively. He's also really good on the base, on the bases. Um, you know, and I think but somebody's got to replace that DH spot that Mitch Garver had. Um, and I don't know if there's still a lot of free agents out there that we could sign that could be that DH person and give Wyatt Langford a little bit more time. But if it's Wyatt Langford, I'm not complaining at all. Not complaining at all. He's a great player.
yeah.
I'm very we'll have to see how he does in spring training. I think that's he could be a starter on opening day. It just really depends how he plays in spring training.
Yeah, I'm with you pretty much all the way on that with Wyatt Langford. Seems like every time I open my phone to Rangers content, they're just marveling at his body, talking about his quads and stuff. him and those
Like Joey Gallo
Garcias,
2.0.
yeah, pretty much. But Wyatt Langford, like you said, I would prefer for him to be DH if he's going to make the squad early. I'm not liking the Leody disrespect I've seen with some teams some Rangers fans want to push him out so quickly just to have, Langford already play left field. It'll be the future, I think, with Langford playing left field, Carter playing center, and then Adolis Garcia in right field. But, give him the time. You don't have to rush him. Bushey said he'll give him a fair opportunity. If he makes opening day roster, it'll be because he has an amazing spring training. But with Leody, you just can't forget what he's done this past postseason. He had a very good postseason. And you can't forget, the big moments he had. Of course, the homer in World Series, not ALCS Game 1. Also in World Series Game 1, remember why we tied that game in
Yeah,
Game 1.
he
Look who got
walked.
on base, right?
Yep,
He took that
good
big walk,
detail.
and then Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Semien struck out, and then Seager hit that first pitch, homer to right field. And then even later on after that, he would walk again for a potential walk-off in the 10th inning. Would not have a walk-off winner at that point of the game, but of course Adolis did the rest of that in Game 1. So I just want people to
And I
respect.
want to
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I want to say, I mean, he's also, you look at what his power, he's trending in power too.
Mm-hmm.
His first couple of years with the Rangers, he was always struggling with his power, with his pop. He wasn't, I think his career high in home runs in a season before the last season was about like 5 home runs. He had about 12 home runs this season. His plate appearances were a little bit higher than it was in other seasons, but you could tell that he's also hitting the ball harder. He's a really important piece to this World Series team. And again, like you said, that walk in Game 9, you don't know if we could be World Series champions if it wasn't for him. Um, so, I mean, there's no rush at all. There's absolutely no rush. If we start to struggle, maybe there is a rush. We had Evan Carter was a rush almost at that point,
Yeah.
where it's like we have to bring him up. We have to start starting him because this offense is not doing that good anymore. So, I mean, I don't know. I think if there's a lot of people thinking that the Rangers will be not that good at the start of the year, because of their injuries to their starting rotation. So I don't know if that's going to lead the Rangers to think that they need to rush Wyatt Langford coming up. But I think Leody Taveras is a really good piece and could be a really good starting player for this team for years to come.
Yeah, and going back to his stats, you mentioned you were just a little bit off on the home runs. He had 14 home runs, actually, but very close to what
14.
you were saying.
Nice.
266 batting average. Yeah, won the postseason. 266 batting average, 136 hits, 67 RBIs. Not too bad for a 9-hole hitter. So
Yep.
I'm
He's
pump the brakes a
consistently
little
a
bit.
9-hole hitter. So
Yeah, he was going
67
crazy.
RBIs is really high.
I mean, there was one point he was still hitting about, around 305 to 310 some point like mid-July. He was still, doing his part. He had a little bit of a slump, as did, a lot of the team in late July and August, but still just solid numbers overall from a 9-hole hitter in Leo Taveras. I do think that his outfielding can be a little sketchy at times. There's been some times it's been infuriating, but overall he does a really good job
He
on
did rob
defense.
Yordan Alvarez in, I believe, Game 3.
Yeah, Game 3 or Game 4. Yeah, very good play there. Jumping on the wall, just we couldn't win at home against Houston for some reason, and neither could they. So I'll rest there. But Leo Taveras, I hope he can, at least hold on a little bit for this team. I think he'll eventually get traded in the future because they're so sold on Wyatt Langford as being the future Mike Trout. I've heard that a lot.
I know. I heard that too.
It's just so weird to see how Langford, I just saw a tweet when he was trending. I mean, they just showed him his College World Series highlights on my Twitter, and it literally was just like, what, April or May? What time they play the College World Series? Time.
No, that's about May, yeah.
Yeah, May 2023. They showed the opening lineups for his team in the College World Series. I'm like, really? I've never seen a Rangers player rise the ranks so quickly as him, so wish the best for him.
Unbelievable.
I do want to touch a little bit.
It's kind of scary at that point, It's like, do we really want to rush it this badly? Do we really want to put this young guy on the stage? Maybe ruin his confidence if he has a bad start to his major league career. But that's just the importance of spring training. I don't know if the Rangers have a set time for when Wyatt Langford should come in, but that spring training is going to be a huge answer to what that or a huge answer to that. So.
Good news, though, with Josh Young. Not too much injury stuff going on, and surprise, knock on wood. Josh Young had a little bit of concern in the end of last week with the calf injury. Turned out to only be about a sidelining of 2 to 3 weeks. He tried to throw the ball during outfield drills, and I think he had a little bit of like a tweak to his calf, but I think he'll be fine. He should be good for opening day. As far as pitching, like you said, injury riddle, we've talked about this in the past so many times. Hopefully, if we do not sign Jordan Montgomery, who knows, though? I know Scott Boras, his agent, who has a lot of other big-time players that are still free agents right now. He likes to hold off his guys to get them their bags. Hopefully we can hold out to the very end and can possibly take a little bit less money for opening day, but in time for opening day. But looking at this roster, do you think that our prospects and Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, the Vandy boys of the past, do you think they can possibly make a run for opening day at all, or at least, debut in the first month of action? Are you hopeful for that at all?
Maybe if it's a bullpen, but I don't think they put him in that starting rotation just yet. I really don't know what the starting five rotation is going to be right now. I do think that the Rangers eventually get Jordan Montgomery back. I think he'll be in that rotation. Obviously, you have Uvalde. I don't know if, and it's going to be tough, man. Of course, you're going to have John Gray. You're just going to be relying on those three players mostly for a lot of that
Heaney,
first
yeah.
part of that season, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if we sign Jordan Montgomery. But I do think that happens eventually.
I think Heaney will get back to the starting rotation too. One thing that
Heaney would be,
yeah, John Gray, he had a very interesting comment in the postseason. Of course, they brought him out of the bullpen in the postseason predominantly, and he was doing very good. And they asked him about that in the postseason. He was saying he's never felt more comfortable in his life. He doesn't have the nerves that he typically had in the starting role while coming out of the bullpen. He was just, prospering so well for himself in that position. But he was saying basically like, I felt more relaxed. And the problem is he's getting starter money. So I don't know how that's going to work in the future. He's probably going to start this season as a starter again, especially if they don't sign Jordan Montgomery. But that's going to be an interesting storyline this season to see how they play John Gray. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and I guess I also forgot Dane Dunning.
Yeah,
somebody who was
you could argue the most
really good part of the season last year.
One of the most important pieces of that Rangers roster. I mean, in the absence of Jacob deGrom, he stepped up big time.
Yeah. No, he definitely did.
Just very huge. So this Rangers team, we predicted, I think, 95 both last episode for a season prediction, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be interesting how that folds. But Cubs is going to be the opening World Series matchup, World Series opening day matchup. Look forward to seeing that, having the stadium packed out in Arlington. Going to present the banner, going to present the rings. Should be a nice festivity for the World Series champion Texas Rangers. Cannot wait for that. We're going to close a little bit with the Dallas Cowboys. Not too much going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Zimmer getting introduced as the new DC in the past week. And then, of course, this is a very interesting news that's very recent, is that Jimmy Johnson is being introduced as a coaching advisor for the Dallas Cowboys now to join the roster. Not, a technical official advisor. He's going to be like a little side advisor. I don't know if it's paid or not, but he's going to be he says he wants to, get this team back going. And after a very tough playoff loss against Green Bay. So not too much to touch with that. I don't know if you have any thoughts with this so much, but very light story.
You saw his halftime speech at Fox.
I've never seen him that hot. Wow.
I know. You gotta, hey, maybe he could put that, maybe put that in the locker room, and maybe it does change, But I don't know, man. Advisory boards just aren't. It's just tough to, we really have to see if he's committed or not, and that's going to be tough for him at his age. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be staying at Fox, obviously. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to really make a difference. I think, this is, this is typical Jerry, of course, bringing people back from past times, but this time it's actually from a time where we were successful. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough. Just like. We'll see, I guess. It's more of a we'll find out and see.
I feel so hopeless, man. I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but I'm like, what is Jimmy Johnson going to do with this team, bro? What's he going to do?
I know. Just at his age, we'll have to see if he's really that committed.
I don't know if you saw, like, the rumor that came up on BR Gridiron, but they were saying that Dak was
Oh, I did.
Oh, my God. Looking to reset the market.
The QB market.
Are you kidding me? 60 mil? 60 mil he's asking? There's no way that's a legit report. That has to be fake. There's no way I read
Jordan
that.
Schultz is wrong a lot. He is wrong a lot. I will say that. But the Jordan Schultz is the guy who broke the news. I mean, dude, if it's real, man, I'm just so sick of this, man. I'm really so sick of this. I mean, I think, with all the endorsements that he has anyways, like, does he really need all that? Why is he,
I'd love to
what's
know
up with the
how.
60 million? Does he not want any weapons?
So I'm saying I'd
Does he
love to know how you build your team by getting all of that per year.
getting
So
a quarterback that hasn't proven to win a playoff, multiple playoff games in a year, 60 million? I mean, are you freaking kidding me? It's
I
just
just
like it's just piling on, man. It's piling on to this, this dumpster of a franchise.
it gets worse. It just gets worse. This
I'm
you
telling you,
can't
man.
make this
There's no one
stuff.
who hates the Cowboys more than actual Cowboys fans, and people and the Cowboys fans who haven't, experienced the success.
Exactly. Yeah. Haven't seen
Us,
any of the good days. Can't
and
make this
there's no
stuff
one who
up.
hates the Cowboys more than us.
Could not write a comedy like this franchise. So that'll wrap it up here for the 214 Sports Show, episode 27. Joseph Duffy here and TJ Crowless. We're going to go ahead and introduce our socials before we get out of here. You can like and subscribe. We drop this episode usually on Thursdays around 9 to 11 p.m. We've been doing much better these past 2 weeks, but usually
Yeah.
around 9 to 11 p.m. we drop the episode on Spotify and then also on YouTube. We ask you to please like and subscribe each episode if you can. And then also we post reels and then also TikToks, of course, on TikTok, but also on Twitter. You can follow that. And then also on Instagram, you can follow that as well at 214 Sports Show for all of those socials. Again, at 214 Sports Show for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast. TJ can go ahead and give your socials really quick, please.
Yes, sir. So we got TJ.Krolowitz for Instagram, TJ_Krolowitz for X. You can follow me there. I usually just post stuff about, Dallas sports. I kind of just add on to what's on this podcast.
Yeah, for myself, kind of the same thing for me. I do add like a little bit of national news thoughts that I have too with the national sports scene, but it's usually about Rangers and Cowboys and Mavs for me. Instagram and Twitter, you can follow me at Joseph_Duffy99. Again, at Joseph_Duffy99. Then also for our other co-host, our third co-host who has been absent with some family emergencies as well, Courtney Machani. You can follow him on Instagram at clivesdalife. I don't know why I said like that. I shouldn't have said like that. I actually just forgot. It's C lives to life, as he says. It's CLIVESDALIFE on Instagram, Clives to Life. C lives to life. You can also follow him on Twitter at C_Machani. And that is again our socials at 214 Sports Show, YouTube and Spotify where we drop the actual episodes, and then Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter where we drop reels and just some posts. So we invite you to follow, like, and subscribe on those platforms. And that will do it for episode 27 of the 214 Sports Show, your home for everything North Texas and DFW sports. For TJ Crowless, my name is Joseph Duffy. You're all good, bro. TJ Crowless and Joseph Duffy here in episode 27. Have a good rest of your evening or night or whenever you're watching. See ya.